Welcome everybody to our Friday Igniting Souls Fellowship here in Columbus, Ohio. And we also have this going live, welcome guests live on Facebook, and we're so happy to have you with us. So we want to talk today about how to go viral with your book, brand, or business. And Carrie Oberbrunner is just the person to do that, as he's doing that in real time right now with his newest book, The Elixir Project, that you'll see right here. So we're going to be able to have questions and answers. He's going to teach us about how to go live or how to go viral. And part of that is being live right now with you here online, which is awesome. We have people here from Columbus. We have guests from across seas. So really excited to have you all here. As far as it goes with going viral, I'm sure that there are lots of questions. There are lots of wondering, how do you go viral with a book? Why would you go viral with a book? What would that do for your business? How is that going to make an impact on the world? And many of us here are people that want to change the world. We want to do something to make a difference. We're here for a purpose, right? So Carrie has done that with books. He's done that with programs, and he's been able to do that even here locally to be able to impact many people that have gone off into other places in the world and making a difference as well. So I want to go ahead and introduce Carrie here in a minute, but first I want to welcome a couple people who are here visiting. We have Rob Plaster, who is from France. Yay, Rob, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And as he will share this right now, I'm asking each one of you online also to share this particular video right now so that we can have everybody going viral, right? That's part of what we're doing. So I'm sure that David can post up that link there. Go to the Carrie Oberbrunner author page and share that with everyone, please. And as Rob's doing that, he's sharing with people in France, right? Because he's here visiting. We have people from Wisconsin here in Columbus, just here to visit. Welcome. And what were your names?
Dave and Laura Deal.
Dave and Laura Deal. Thank you so much for coming out to join us. We have people that are here local. Welcome all. So these are all people that Carrie has been able to impact because he has stepped out and taken a chance, right? We all have to take a chance. We all have to get out there and do something, and sometimes we're afraid to do something. So no further ado, I want to welcome up our chance taker, our leader, the person that is willing to go out and go viral and teach all of us to do the same, Carrie Oberbrunner.
Awesome. Wow, that was a fantastic intro. Great. And you're new too. Welcome. Awesome. Good to see you. Well, if you look here, we are talking about how to go viral with your book, brand, or business. It's great to be with you. And this is the Igniting Souls Fellowship. As I've shared a little bit about our history, we are now about 4 years old. Can you believe that? We've been doing this monthly for 4 years. Pete and Pat, you've been here almost since the beginning, so Joel as well. And we've had a great group. It's been fantastic. And guys, this shows you how I need to grow. Are you ready? You ready for the confession? I told David, David told me, let's not ever stream this thing. That would be bad. Let's not do that. And shows you how dumb we are sometimes. Isn't that true? Come on now, right? Haven't you ever said, I'll never do this, or I'm only going to do this, and then you suddenly try something in June, and suddenly our tribe, which is all over the world, says, I love it, don't stop doing it. So we've been doing the live stream now for quite some time. We'll keep doing it as long as you keep showing up. So I want to encourage everyone who just joined now, if you look here up on the screen, you can see that we've had, with our last one, over 200,000 people reached just because everybody shared it. So that's really how we get the word out. There's nothing to buy today. So this isn't like, oh, you know, we're going to sell something today. In fact, we're just going to share value. And I'm going to teach you guys why I dedicated the last 6 months of my life to create the Elixir Project VIP group, which is free. It's absolutely free, and I show up every day there. So here's what I want to ask you to do. If you're in the room, if you're online, David, I'm going to ask people to type in where they're from. We want to know, where are you from? We love to go back afterwards and see, oh my gosh, we had UK, we had Australia, we had New Zealand, We had China. So go ahead, type in the comments where you're from. We'd love to hear that. We'll touch base with you guys here soon. And also, if you can share it, just share this link, and that will go out and tell a lot of people where we're at. Why? Because our goal, my passion, in my little prayer closet, I've prayed a lot about this, and I really believe that in 2020, by 2020, we want to have ignited 1 million souls. And look, with all the stuff that's going on in the world today, wouldn't that be cool to see 1 million people that are souls on fire? Wouldn't that be cool? I'd be happy. So if you can share that, that'd be fantastic. Here's what I know. Going viral doesn't happen by accident. You guys know that? A lot of times we think about the Chewbacca woman. Remember that lady? You remember that? We're going to actually visit her a little bit. Maybe in real time. No, I'm kidding. Maybe. You never know. But even her thing contained 3 ingredients. And if she doesn't tap into these ingredients, what do we call it these days? Your blank minutes of fame. What do we call it? 15 minutes of fame. Right? We call it that, right? And it's called 20 in Wisconsin. It's all good. Yeah. Wisconsin calls it 20 minutes, right? I'm from Wisconsin, so it's all good. But look, whether it's 15 minutes, whether it's 20 minutes, there's this thing today that says anybody can go viral, but for a short time. You're only going to have this little comment that goes by and then you're done. Here's the point. Capitalize on it. Wouldn't that be cool? If you were ready, write this quote down. This is one of my favorite quotes. It's actually one I came up with by myself. I steal a lot of other quotes, but here's one of my own. It says, when you prepare for the moment, what is it? The moment is prepared for you. When you prepare for the moment is prepared for you. If you like that in the Facebook comments, here's what I mean by that. That means that if you're not ready to capitalize on this moment of fame that you might have, it's gone. How many times have you been around somebody but you weren't ready, and then you lost it? Can I share a confession with you guys? You guys ready?
Yeah.
This is off script. I mean, come on now, right? All right, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. David was actually on the phone. True story. Last Monday, remember this story? Last Monday, I'm in a coffee shop 2 Mondays ago, and I'm doing Elixir stuff. I'm doing the conference stuff, and I'm talking to David on the phone, and we're planning some stuff. And I say, David, guess who just walked into this coffee shop? He's like, I don't know. And then I said the name. I said this certain guy's name. Now, some of you are like, who cares? I don't even know who that guy is. So I'm not going to say his name. Why? Because you might think it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. You might think it's somebody, crazy. So let's just assume that it's somebody really big in my industry. And I say, that's him, I think. Now, how many of you right there would have said, but that's it? And you just would have kept going with your computer. Let's be honest. Be honest. Anybody? Joel? You raising your hand? Yeah? So Joel would have been like,
I'm getting better.
Yeah? Joel would have been like, wow, there he is, but I don't know how to capitalize on the moment, right? I said, David, I'm going. Boom. All right? So then I go up to him and I'm like, are you, or I don't even say are you. I say, hey, blank. I'm just going to say his name. Hey, Lewis. Hey, Lewis, how you doing? He's like, hey. And I say right away, I'm blank's friend. Why would I say that? Why would I say I'm blank's friend? Credibility. Does he even know who I am? No. You don't introduce yourself when someone doesn't know who you are, right? Pat in the back, Pete in the back. We know someone who met some really important guy. A guy with no arms and no legs. He did not introduce himself by his own name. See, when you are meeting someone for the first time and they don't know you, they don't know you. So if you say, hey, I'm a bald guy with a girl's name, my name's Carrie, how are you? It's like, whatever, No, I said, hi, I'm blank's friend. Guess what he does? Come here, come here. He gives me a hug. I'm like, cool. And then I say, why are you here? And he said, I'm here having my own conference. I say, fantastic. How can I help you? Promote it. When you prepare for the moment is prepared for you. He's like, you would do that? I'm like, absolutely. He said, that's cool because I'm having a conference in Columbus and there's people flying in from all over the world. Sound familiar? And people in Columbus aren't even coming. I said, I get it. I said, I got my conference in 3 weeks and I got people from Australia flying in, but people from Hilliard aren't even coming. He's like, oh man. And then I said, my favorite book has a quote about that. He's like, really? I said, a prophet is not without honor except in his own hometown. He's like, that's cool. What does that mean? And I said, I broke it down for him. He says, I got to take a phone call, actually I say this. I say, I'll promote it. I'll even shoot a video right here. He goes, you shoot a video right here? I say, absolutely. He says, dude, I'm giving you a free ticket. I'm giving you a free VIP ticket. You guys see how this happens? I say, fine, awesome. So he says, I got to take the call, and when I come back, we'll shoot the video. So do you think I just went back to my stuff and said, well, you know, I don't know, when he comes back, I'll pick a video? What do you think I did? What do you think I did? Prepared. I went on the site, I found out the theme, I found out the speakers, I found out the schedule. You guys see where this comes? Right? Then I shoot a video. And I shoot the video and I'm like, hey, you know, I'm here with my buddy, you know, Lewis, da-da-da-da-da, shot the video. How many of you saw that video? Anybody? Okay, a few of you saw it, right? He then shares it, right? He then follows me on Twitter. You get the point, and now it starts rolling. Did I just stop there and say, oh, that was cool? What do you think I did? Hey, Lewis, do you need a place to meet when you're here with your team? Right? And then I say, I'm not going to say who. You guys know who I'm talking about. But you guys know a cool place to meet in Columbus that I often go, right? You guys know what I'm talking. This side knows. All right. So I call my other buddy, and I'm like, dude, I got an opportunity. You got to hook this guy up. I'll pay for it if it needs to be hooked up, you know? And boom, now he has space for, you see what I'm saying? This is how it happens. But if you're just like, oh, laptop, nervous, he doesn't know me, boom. No, you need to constantly take risks. Every day I wake up, I say, who can I serve? How can I storytell? Now, you guys know me in the room. What is that code language for? How can I serve and how can I storytell? What is that? What does the outside business world hear when they hear that?
Selling and marketing.
Selling and marketing. You guys are your own brand. You guys are the CEO of a cool little company called YOU. You guys are the CEO of you. And if you don't take that responsibility, people say, why would I hire them? They're not managing them well. Pat, come on up here. Let's give Pat a hand. Yeah. Hey, Pat, walk this way because of that. I don't want Pat to have to do a jump flip over this little cord here. I often bring people up to the front. By the way, David, as she's coming up, where are people from? Where are people from? Do we have people from anywhere? Awesome. This is Pat. This is Pat, our oldest but youngest author.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right? So Pat, fantastic lady. In fact, let's tell the story of how we got connected. Can we tell that story? So Pete's in the back, and I preached at your church.
Uh-huh. And I was actually with the Choctaw Indians doing some work. Came home. If the history is that I've always dragged him to conferences, right? So Pete says, one of my students is going to do a conference this weekend, I'm going. I didn't know the conference was $400 or something.
Yeah.
And I said, well, if you're going, I want to go. So he calls Carrie and says, you gave me a ticket. Pat wants to go too. He thought they were free. I mean, what do we know? And so.
And hopefully did I give you a free? All right, see, there you go. Good, yes.
Free ticket. He was a good guy.
Yes.
He was a good guy. But that was the beginning. Pete taught Carrie, but Carrie has taught us. So that as we have gotten older, I'm 82, and I have a 10-year plan.
She's got a 10-year plan.
And when I'm 92, I'll make another 10-year plan.
And
right?
You spoke on stage 2 weeks ago at an event.
Yes.
And now you're speaking next month in Louisiana. This
Yeah.
girl is starting her speaking career at 82. Now I know you've been speaking for a long time, but it's leveled up recently.
What's amazing is when I was in high school, just out of high school, I wrote a speech and won a South Carolina speaking contest. You didn't know this about
I know about this because of the Billy Graham.
Yeah.
Tell
and
the story.
And so the prize for that was to be on stage with Billy Graham.
Awesome.
And so I got to give my speech to his audience. So what's exciting for me, that through Carrie and through what he's doing, I got in touch with a gift that I had as a young girl.
And she's fully alive. Isn't that awesome?
Alive.
Let's give her a hand. All right. Now, there's a couple things that I want to draw out from this. Write this down. Achieving your dream is more about dream recovery than dream discovery. Did you catch that?
Yes.
Look at Pat's story and see how she's now going viral, because she is. I mean, oh my gosh, go to Pat Gano, P-A-T-G-A-N-O. Look at her wall. It's blowing up. Pat has this favor with God thing that wherever she goes, she's a magnet to people, and people just say, can I be around you? Can I promote you? Can I, you remind me of my grandmother. Can you be my grandmother? I mean, is this true?
Yes.
Yeah, Trevinia a few years ago was at our conference, and boom, she wanted to be your granddaughter, right? Here's the point. Pat has made a recovery, not a discovery. Some of you have forgotten your dreams. In the comments below, if you've forgotten your dream, just type in, I've forgotten. I've forgotten. Just type that in right now, I've forgotten, if you've forgotten your dream. David, I'm going to ask you to share our free author webinar. Because some people say, you know what? I did think at the age of 5 I was going to write a book. I did think at the age of 13 I wanted to write a book and become a published author. I've forgotten. Guys and gals, you need to remember this a little bit. You're going to learn at the Igniting Souls conference that time actually does not exist. Now I know you're like, what the heck? What is going on right now? What are you talking about, Carrie? Is this going to last forever, this talk today? No. But here's the point. Your mind cannot distinguish between future and past. Is this true? How many people do you know who are, quote, we say, stuck in the past?
Yes.
They are living their lives right now, but they're in 1983, and they've been there for the last decade. Is this true? Is there anybody? They got listen, confession. I go to YouTube and I type in 90s playlist, okay? I like the 90s, and my wife teases me. She's like, what are you doing? Get some new music. And I'm like, yes, but the 90s, okay? But you get it. So I'm stuck musically in the 90s. But here's the point. Have you ever been stressed or nervous about a future test? A medical test? A speech? Have you ever been nervous about it? Right? I know people just this week who've been nervous about a medical test, a speech. Guess what? Your mind can actually have heart palpitations, physiological symptoms, cold sweats. You can begin to get nervous. You can begin to get anxious. And yet it's today, and yet you're projecting 2 weeks from now. In other words, you are living in the future presently. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So here's the point, guys and gals. I just talk about a lot in my teaching to create your future now. I mean, you're going to learn all about the conference, how this thing came to me, and I didn't say, I need to go write it. I said it's already written. Does this make sense? The moment I had the idea, it wasn't, I should write a young adult fiction book. The moment I had the idea, I said, I've already written it. Now I just need to make it happen. So part of this we're going to talk about today is going viral. I envision all the time things, and then they appear. Now, that's not because I'm a magician or something. It's because I understand the power of the mind and certain things. Who said, my favorite teacher, whatever you pray on, right? On earth, right? Will be done in heaven, right? I mean, there's this whole thing that crosses time, space, dimensions, and yet so many people fail to see it. And it's because of their own self-limiting beliefs. When I saw Lewis at the coffee shop, I already saw, you guys haven't even heard anything yet. I mean, my little story about Lewis, he doesn't even know what's coming. Does this make sense? I've already created something that he just doesn't know yet. This is the same thing that happened with Shawshank. How did I get to be signed with the Hollywood celebrities at Shawshank? Because I saw it. And then I said, now I'm going to create it. Okay, does this make sense? Write this down. I'm going to unpack it at the conference. I don't have time today. Flawless does not mean fast. Flawless means forward. Let me say that again. Flawless does not mean fast. Flawless means forward. I'm going to unpack that at the conference. But what I'm basically saying is that flawless ideas are never fast. They're never fast. If you get locked into the results, you're looking at a seed and you plant corn and you're frustrated that the corn you planted yesterday hasn't turned into a stalk yet. Does this make sense? What if you plant a redwood and you come back a year and you don't see anything? Should you just dig it up and give it up as lost? No. What happens if you plant corn and you don't see something for a year? Should you be frustrated? Some of you have redwood dreams, but you're trying to apply corn timing. Does this make sense? Some of you have planted redwoods. You've said, God, give me a big dream. God, give me something crazy. God, let me change nations. And then you come back and say, well, look at the person next to me. They have a corn dream, and theirs is 3 foot tall, and mine I can't even see. And if you begin to compare, you get discouraged. Does this make sense?
Yep.
I have a redwood dream. So I don't get all bent out of shape when somebody that I don't even know shoots up out of nowhere and has a corn-sized dream, but then it withers.
Yeah.
True?
Yes.
All right, I got an amen in the front. All right, rock on. All right, we're on slide 1, and I got to roll. I got to go in 10 minutes because we got an exciting panel. Going viral is a direct result of 3 ingredients. Here's your 3 ingredients. David, how's the group going?
Good.
Are we going good? Welcome if you just joined us. Thank you so much. We're having a blast teaching you about how to go viral with your book, brand, and business. If you're liking what you're hearing, say your name below and please share it. That would be fantastic. Here's what you're going to discover today. Not only are you going to get a lecture. Lectures are fine, but lectures are theory. What I'm going to do is in a few minutes, I'm going to bring panelists up that have actually walked with me the last 3 months and seen this in real time. It's one thing if I say, here's my little formula, guys and gals. Let me teach it to you, and does it work? I don't know, and I'm not going to tell you if it works, and you can't test me. No. I'm going to bring up people that have been watching me the last 3 months from France, from Wisconsin. And they're part of this, and they're saying, wow, this is actually happening. So here's what you're going to learn. I'm going to step out of the way. The 3 ingredients essential to going viral: a proven real-time example of a message going viral, a template for how to go viral with your own book, brand, or business. You ready? All right, here we go. I'm Chief Igniter. You should be here. You're already here, so I'm not even going to go through this today. If you're an entrepreneur, artist, author, leader, change agent, here's the point. If you want to be a soul on fire, you should be here. If not, we'll see you, okay? Go have a good life. If you want to make a dent in the universe, if you want to be a soul on fire, you should be here. Well, by the way, welcome. Good to see you. Awesome. Great to be here. All right, we're talking about an event today. The best thing I can do is I can encourage a decision. I can motivate you. It's a calendar issue, and I can challenge you. Those are the best things I can do today. What I can't do today is encourage development, maturity, make it a culture issue in your life, or challenge or change you. I can't do that. So here's my invite at the end. My invite is to join our free VIP group. So you can see for the next 3 months how this is actually going to go viral. Do you guys know where I was yesterday on the internet? Guinness Book of World Records. I haven't even told David this. David's probably like, what the heck is this guy thinking? I might apply for a Guinness Book of World Records for December 6th for the book launch. Why not? I looked at, did some research. I want to do the largest book launch release party ever. And I got on the phone with some people, and they're like, heck yeah, let's do it. So I don't know. I mean, it's an idea, okay? We might do a Guinness Book of World Record, maybe December 6th, so just be ready. Okay, be ready, that's all I'm saying. Okay, today's event is at the top. I have tons more. If you like the tribe, if you like being a soul on fire, you gotta come to the Igniting Souls Conference. You gotta join the free VIP group, whatever. Here's number 1 ingredient. Number 1 ingredient, community. If you want to go viral for more than 15 minutes, you need a community. Otherwise, you're a flash in the pan. Otherwise, you got on the talk show and then that's done. How many of you are part of the Igniting Souls Tribe private Facebook group? I know most of you. Okay, most of you. Do you guys agree that that is a kick-butt rock star group? I mean, that things are happening in that group that are just unbelievable, right? It's true. So when it comes to going viral, which comes first? This is what a lot of people say, chicken versus egg. Is it content or community? Because let me tell you what, has anyone ever heard of 21 Pilots in the room? From Ohio, you kind of know that, right? Who's on Saturday Night Live either this week or last week? 21 Pilots, right? They're blowing up, okay? My kids go to the same school that they went to, right? I mean, here's the point. If you're not from Ohio, you're like, oh my gosh, 21 Pilots. Because they're prophets in their own hometown, we're like, yeah, whatever. It's all good. But here's the point. When they release a video, they get millions of views within days, right? Is this true? They release a video, they get millions of viewers in a few days. Why? Because they have a community. They have a community already built in, so when they release a new product or service, boom, okay? All right. I'm not saying, though, you need a community first, because some of you, let's be honest, if you say my community's pretty small, you're not on camera, but raise your hand. How many of you say my community's pretty small? Okay? How many of you say I wish my community was bigger? Okay? I think Oprah would even raise her hand, okay? Why? Because you always want to grow. No blade of grass says, you know what, today I want to shrink. You know, nobody, what is his name? Usain Bolt? Is that his name? Yeah, Usain Bolt. He's not saying, you know, next year I actually want to get a slower time. I mean, that would be my goal. Look, you are built with God's divine image inside you. And so because you have God's imprint inside you, you want to grow. God's glory wants to grow. God wants to grow His glory. I mean, it says that in my favorite book, so here's the point. If that's inside you, accept it. And say, yeah, I do want to get bigger. That's okay. See, I grew up in a society, in a culture, in a home. I'm not saying it was my parents' fault, but I kind of grew up in this thing where you don't say you should grow bigger. You don't say you should have more influence, impact, or income. You should be content. Yeah, I am content. I'm content to have more, to share more, to do more, to be more, to have more. I don't want to be like, you know, I never want to travel. I just want to stay in Lewis Center, Ohio my whole life. I would like to travel. I would like to influence. How many of you would like to do that too? Right? Exactly. All right, number 2, content. Content. Oftentimes it's content. A major ingredient. Ingredient number 2 is content. You gotta have good content. Folks, I'll step out of your way. I see people taking iPhone pictures. Go for it. Fantastic. If this book stinks, I'm not going viral. It doesn't matter how much sauce I put behind it. Is this true?
Yeah.
Right? How many of you have read at least one chapter of the book? If you haven't, I'm not offended. But look around the room. Do you think it's good?
Yeah.
Right? I had people who told me while I was writing it, you are dumb. Okay, what are you doing? You are an idiot. Why would you write young adult fiction when you are a business book writer, a Christian living book writer? Why would you do that? That's stupid. And all I had to do was be like, 2 words. You know what I kept saying? Write this down. It's not a swear word, okay? Write this down. Write this down. I know you want to say a swear word when you hear that. Watch me. Watch me. Watch me. And did their criticism help? Yes. I realized I better need a kick-butt editor. I mean, and guess what? When I turned this in, it was 87,000 words, and now it's 65,000 words. She cut 20,000 words. I'm glad she cut 20,000 words. You don't have a big ego, you bring good people around you. If you do not have a good book or a good product or a good service, it doesn't matter how many reviews you have. I'm not going to go into our presidential candidates, but let's just say this. Doesn't matter how much money you throw on either of these candidates, if the product ain't good, people ain't excited. I know that's horrible English. Pete, you know, my former college professor, forgive me, but you get the point. All right? All right? You can tweet that. All right? Please don't. Don't tweet that one. My mom will be mad. Conversation. This is why we're going to bring up panelists in about 3 minutes. These panelists are not because, gee, I only have 30 minutes to talk, and now I need to fill the time. I went out and I found incredible panelists who I said, ask questions. Renee, do I know what questions they're asking?
No, he doesn't.
I have no clue what they're going to ask about Elixir Project or the process of going viral with your book, brand, or business. I don't care. That's okay. I'm excited. I want to hear them. Okay, I want to grow. I want to learn. I want to be stretched. I teach new neural pathways, something called neuroplasticity, and I embody it, which means that I don't want to know the script. I don't want to, say, oh, these questions are too unsafe. Ask these questions because it makes me look good. No. Ask anything. Make me look like an idiot. It's okay because I'll be stretched, and I always want to be stretched. Here's the thing. How many of you heard when Apple went out? My 11-year-old kid heard about it. Okay, what is with that? Conversation. When people begin to spoof you, that's a good sign. When people begin to create a parody about your products and services, that's good. Why is that good? Anybody? Why is that good? Okay, because you're out there enough, right? I saw one of the vice presidents this morning on Facebook, and they just showed his face and then the Grinch's face. Did you see that one yet?
Yeah.
You saw that one? I mean, it was crazy. Remember when the Grinch smiles really big? Like, super big? Then they showed the vice president doing that. I was like, wow. I said he could be mad, but he's actually probably happy because it's getting out there, okay? All right. Virality, and yes, that is a word. I Googled it, okay? It is, because I told David, is this a word? Because, it is a word. Virality centers around conversation. Comments, opinions, and dialogue propels books, brands, and businesses further. You want to start a conversation. Okay, last little tweet here, then we'll bring our people up. Take a picture of this, shoot it around, get the word out. I love it. Going viral requires 3 ingredients: dynamic content, community, and conversation. Take anything. Buckeyes football, since we're in the room. Content, it's called every Saturday. Community, oh my gosh, right? Houses, parties, restaurants, and conversation. Why did Urban Meyer do this? Why did he not play Ezekiel Elliott so many play da-da-da-da-da-da-da? Viral. Does this make sense? If you have not created conversation, content, and community, you don't have a chance to stick beyond your 15 minutes of fame. Does that make sense? All right, let's bring up our panelists, and I'm excited because as they're walking up, we're going to introduce them. They're going to introduce themselves. They're going to ask questions about the book, about going viral. Are all 4 of you part of the Elixir VIP team? David, can you share the Elixir VIP group? If you didn't already, can you share it again? You all can be part of that. This is free, and what I've chosen to do is every single day for 6 months, I have been giving you guys valuable content for free. No tricks, all free. So Renee, this is your time. It's tough for me to give the microphone over sometimes, but here it is. All right, let's go. Let's rock and roll.
All right, so I've been a part of the Elixir VIP project from the beginning, and just wanting to watch how to launch, how to apply what has been taught and what Carrie's doing. So I've been watching, I've been reading the book all along. It's been exciting, love it. It's really fun to get that next chapter out every week. And so I've invited a couple of guests here. We have Jeff Felder. If you want to tell real quick what you do briefly, and if you have a website, is that
Sure.
what you said?
Oh yeah, that's great.
You're welcome. Real quick.
Yeah, so my name is Jeff Felder. I am an owner of a digital marketing company. I've been following Carrie for a couple of years now. My website is sync3.com.
Rob?
My name is Rob Plaster. I live outside Versailles in a city called Montigny-le-Bretonneux. I am igniting souls on fire by connecting people to their Creator through planting new churches.
Erica?
My name is Erica McEwen, and I've just written a book, You Taught My Feet to Dance, in Author Academy Elite, and my website, I'm still working on it, but it's ericamarieffoster.com.
Great. Well, thank you all for joining us. And we're going to open up the panel to be able to ask questions of Carrie. And I'll go ahead and I'll let Jeff, you go first. And anything goes. We can ask questions about whether the book itself, about going viral, how he's doing that or whatnot.
How does the book end?
How does the book end? Yeah. Let's just put it this way. It's a big surprise. David, is it a big surprise?
It is a big surprise.
No.
Yeah.
So, I'm interested to know, so this is outside your norm, this book.
Oh, yeah.
Besides the criticism and people saying you're dumb for doing it, what were some of the hardest parts about writing a book kind of outside of the norm?
Yeah. Yeah. First and foremost, it's all the belief stuff about yourself. Because when you are just up at 2 a.m. or 6 a.m. or 4 in the afternoon, and it's summer, and your kids are swimming, and you're like, yeah, what the heck, forget it, I'm just gonna go swimming with the kids. There's something that has to pull you back. And this is why the old joke is like, I'm working on a novel for 10 years. Because people keep working on it because they never finish it. But guess what? Here it is, right? And why is it here? Because I realized I want to ignite 1 million souls, and I realized if I only write business books for small business owners or only write Christian books for people of faith, that's a small niche. I really wanted to write a crazy story. Here's the truth. Peter Pavarini, okay? So I'm going to say his name. He doesn't even know the book's for him, so don't tell him yet. But right here, I devote the book to Peter Pavarini for inserting the idea of fiction into my brain over a decade ago. I have a board, and one of the guys on my board said, you should write fiction someday. And I actually laughed at him. I'm like, ha, ha, ha. I said, I will never write fiction. I don't even read fiction. And that was that. But guess what? Have you ever had an idea that is told to you and it keeps grinding and grinding? So I want to challenge you guys in your own life. This is not about me or the book right now. This is about you. Who's told you an idea that scares you to death and you deny it with everything that you have? Kaya's laughing right now. I don't know. But honestly, do that. Check. Do that gut check and say, what is an idea that someone's told me that scares me to death, that there's energy behind that response? Look, if it didn't matter, you'd just be like, and it would bounce off. But if you have a volatile reaction, maybe there's something there. And I don't know if I didn't think I was good enough. I don't know if I thought fiction is for kids. I don't know. But it just sat there and it sat there and it sat there. And then finally 2 years ago, one night I get up and it's like, boom, the book title. I'm not saying the whole story came down from heaven because that's not true. It's actually very different than what it came. But like enough came in that thought that I'm like, I got to do this. Yeah, great question. This is fun. This is good.
How about you, Rob? What would you like to ask Carrie?
How intentional were you in trying to weave content into the story to help people understand this idea of unhackability?
Yeah.
Or did it just kind of flow naturally?
Yeah. Wow. So I'm going to just confess a lot today, all right? But you guys are cool. It's good. It's not like this is being broadcasted anywhere, Right. So here's the point. I knew that at the end of the day, if people read a fiction story and say, wasn't that a nice story? And then move on with their lives, that doesn't excite me. It just doesn't. I mean, I like to create something that infects people, that's a movement that sticks in their brain. I've had that happen to me, where I've watched certain movies and it just sticks with you and you think about it. Inception, was a movie for me where I'm just like, whoa, But I knew that if I wrote a book that was a TEDx talk with a story around it, or a product with a story around it, or a course with a story around it, I would be lit up on social media in a bad way. Like, this guy's just selling a course, but he's tied a story to it. So you will read this book and find nothing about the course. You will find nothing about a program. You will just, in fact, some people are starting to say in the VIP group, Cardiff said this week, He's like, how are you even going to create anything from this? There is a strategy. In other words, the whole premise of the book is that there are college kids that are recruited in a very unorthodox way because they have something inside them that makes them unhackable. And there's a society that they're living in today that's run by Swarm, which is a hacktivist group. And David knows, like, I literally went 2 years of research into hacktivists, into FBI, into all kinds of crazy stuff, because I knew that if it didn't look like I researched my stuff, it wouldn't be a good book. Does this make sense? So your question, say it again, because I get excited, Rev, I'm sorry.
How intentional were you in trying to weave content into the story? So
what the editor cut out, the 20,000 words, was extra content. But I needed to get there. Pay attention to this, everybody. When you create a product, you're going to create 120% of that product. You're going to create 150% of that product. You're going to create 150% of that talk. What makes it brilliant is not what you add, but what you can no longer take away. Let me say this again. There's a quote by Antoine somebody that I would butcher the French name, but here's what he says. Here's what he says. Somebody Google this. Rick Copeland, can you Google this and you'll correct me. It says something like, a genius is not when there is nothing left to add to make it great, but when there is nothing left that you can take away. Something like that. It's Saint somebody, E-X-U-P-E-R-R.
Antoine de Saint-Exupéry.
Thank you, there you go.
The Little Prince.
There you
Little
go.
Prince.
Google it, we'll find it, we'll quote it. But here's the point. What makes Steve Jobs knew this. Steve Jobs understood that if he was going to create something brilliant, it wasn't, what can we throw extra on the iPhone? What can we put extra on the MacBook as a feature? He's like, how much can we strip away that the content is still pure, but there's nothing left in the way?
So the quote actually, Carrie, is a designer knows he has achieved perfection, not when there is nothing left to add, but when there is nothing left to take away.
There you go. Boom.
So,
it was there. I couldn't get it, but you're right. So it's that. Pay attention to that, because that's why TEDx talks are so popular. Because in 18 minutes you need to get to the core, or 12 minutes. This is why everything's changing in our industry. It used to be, oh, I get to hear a keynote speaker for 90 minutes. Now that speaker's told you need to present in 18 minutes or you're done. And now they're like, oh my gosh, not what extra can I add, but what can I take away and still come across as powerful. So I encourage that as you guys are content creators, books, products, services, speeches, start removing what you don't need. And that will make it more effective. Awesome.
So what that tells me is that people that are not really looking for a business, or not looking to learn, that just want to read and just want to enjoy it, can still pick up this book.
Oh yeah. In fact, I think what I'm hearing more from the tribe is, I'm reading the book, how in the heck is there going to be a product at the end of this thing? How in the heck is there going to be a course? I have no clue. And that's actually what I wanted. I did not want people to be like, oh, like, you just fall in love with Sienna and Chloe and Nick and Darren and, this crazy Officer McNulty who's this freak show guy. And I mean, you get scared. People have been scared by the book. That's good. So I'm excited. It's been very fun. Hardest thing I've ever done. Absolute hardest thing I've ever done.
Erica, what would you like to ask her?
What inspired you to write towards young adults? Do you have a passion for it?
Young adults, I'm surprised I made it out alive. How many of you feel that way? All right, Mark, all right. Some of us just feel like, how in the heck did I make it out alive, right? Like, I actually, at the age of 10, saw my first psychologist. Why? Not because I had this crazy messed up childhood, but because I didn't know how to process emotions. And I just kept it all inside. and I started acting out self-injury through biting, and then it turned into cutting as a teenager. I just didn't know how to communicate and connect, and words became that release for me. And so therefore, a book that maybe will help young adults, like, okay, can I, I'm not going to go into your story, but you said you know someone who's been human trafficked, who's a young person. In the book, I took some risks, and I talked about human trafficking and strategies that are actually happening today, because certain people, and I think you read that chapter and you said, I'm really glad, well, you say it, why was that a good thing for young adults to read that chapter?
Well, it kind of enlightens them about what could really happen, the danger of sex trafficking, how you can be drawn in.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, this is real stuff. Like, this book is actually, it's not dystopian, which means that it takes place 100, 500 years from now. This is called near future fiction, which means that this is actually 5 years away. This is actually 10 years away. Like, it's a stretch, but not really. And so some of this stuff, I really had to research, like, what's cutting edge technology and what's really going to happen. And so some people are going to read this and just be like, oh, that's a cool story. Other people are going to be like, wow. Somebody in the room, I won't say who, is now, not just because of the book, but because of the way our world's going, they're now putting tape over their webcam on their computer. You know? Because they're like, wow. Like, you can actually hack someone's webcam and not show that it's on and be watching them for months. Like, we live in a society now where there's a quote in the book where I say, because everything is connected, everything can be hacked. Your refrigerator is connected to the internet if you want it to be, if you buy a recent refrigerator. Everything is connected, and therefore, everything can be hacked. And so we need to learn as a society, like, this is crazy. Like, human hacking is not that far away. It's really not. So there's some stuff that's going to appeal to that audience. But at the end of the day, after the book's done, for the people who want it, there is a course on how to become unhackable. And that's what's crazy. You know, so it's this crazy weird thing that's happening. I don't know. This isn't like a pat on the back. It's actually a, gee, you're an idiot, Carrie. But I don't know anyone who's created a fiction book for young adults that has a course on it that will actually help people with human productivity and optimal human performance. Like, it's not out there. So therefore, I'm already under the gun. There's already scrutiny. The stakes are high, and I love it. You know? Why not? You got one life, right? Yeah.
I have a question to follow up on that. I mean, you wrote the book with an intent of being young adult fiction.
Yeah.
But adults are really just connecting just well with
Oh, yeah.
even just the fiction.
Oh, yeah.
Was it truly intentional to have that broad base?
Yeah. So, you know, I'm not an idiot in some ways. In some ways I am, but you know, like, I'll put the milk in the cupboard by the plates. Okay, so that's an idiot, okay? But in some ways I'm not an idiot where, who read Hunger Games? Who read Divergent? Who read Twilight? Was it just 18-year-olds? No. Who saw Divergent? Who saw Hunger Games? Like, I get it. So even though it's written for young adult fictions, if it's a good story and that's up for grabs, is it? I don't know. You guys will tell me. The world will say. But if it is a good story, then other people will definitely watch it. I watch movies with my kids, you know?
You're leading into my question, so I'm
Okay.
going to ask now.
All right.
So, knowing you and knowing that you look ahead and
Yeah.
you're always planning, I want to know the plans you have right now to make this a movie. I'm sure you've already researched it or you've done something.
Yeah.
So what are you doing that you can tell
Yeah.
us that you are preparing it for?
So actually, that's 100% on you guys. That's what I've researched. I've researched that if you guys think that Igniting Souls should be out there in mainstream public, that we should be igniting souls, that this could start a revolution, it's 100% on you. Because I cannot share the book enough, I cannot talk about it enough, that's self-promotion, that's on you guys. So the best thing you can do is join the Elixir VIP group and then just invite everyone and share it with it. Would I like it to be a movie? Oh yeah, I already have the site and the location. I wrote it on, I wrote it on the site where it will be filmed. Like, I literally went there and sat in the rooms and wrote the story. Like, yeah, the movie's already done, but that's up to you guys. If you guys don't share it and talk about it, I can't, and I'm not Donald Trump, so I don't have the funds to be like, well, I'm going to make sure everybody hears about it. I can't. So in some ways, I'm like, hey, if I've invested in you in the last 4 years, and you feel so inclined to talk about this book and share it, please, Why? Because right now I'm focused on our conference from 2 weeks from now, So I'm focused on serving you guys at that conference. I don't have, it's not up to me. I mean, in some ways, yes, I would love for it to happen, but it's truly up to each one of us. Yeah? So I'm going to ask you the question. You guys want it to get out. Okay.
So I want to talk about going viral for a second.
Yeah.
Because I have clients who send me videos and say, hey, make me go viral.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it doesn't really work that way.
Right.
Because it's very rare when something goes viral.
Right.
And I always talk about consistency. I think you kind of talked about that earlier. So how important is being consistent with other types of content that kind of helps something go viral? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so there's a guy who is a YouTuber who went viral. Millions of views of his video within days. It was a guy who did a video about something like why I love Jesus but hate the church. And he's this poetic spoken word guy. Does anyone you saw that? Okay. Why did that go viral? Because it scratched an itch, it put words to a massive problem that people had. That was, I can't put my finger on it, I can't articulate it, I can't express it, but I have so much pent up energy about this issue, and I just need to get it out. And then, oh my gosh, that guy's video exactly said what I feel. I gotta share it. So if your friend just says, hey, I made something, it's me holding up this remote and saying how good of a remote it is, make it go viral. Here's what I want to challenge you. Write this down. This is not my own. It's very good. Okay, write this down. You need to have an enemy. Your cause needs an enemy. I'm going to give you a case in point. Check this out. I'm not even joking. Okay? There was a Kickstarter campaign for a $100 hoodie. Okay? And it went viral. Do you know why it went viral? Because it created an enemy. You know who the enemy was? Nope. The makers of cheap clothes. It was, this hoodie lasts forever. You will only need to buy one hoodie. And guess what? If clothes makers use these materials, they could do it too, but they don't want to because they're rich and they're greedy. And so let's kick it to them and show it to them that we are going to create a hoodie that can last for life. Go kickstart me, for $100 for the hoodie. Boom. Now if the guy just said, hey, we have a $100 hoodie, who wants to buy it? Do you see how it wouldn't have connected? You need an enemy. What is your enemy? A lot of our enemy in Igniting Souls is apathy, right? It's apathy, it's average, it's chronic pain, it's disengagement, it's disillusionment. We have defined our enemy very clearly, and that's why people get excited. So if your cause doesn't have an enemy, I'm just going to pick on Kathy. Kathy, what's your cause that you're doing for your business right now? Is it let's just pick hair? No.
Well, I have salons, but what I'm doing right now is incubating and mentoring new business startups.
Fantastic.
And my enemy is the fact that most new business startups fail in the first year.
Great. Who is Luke Skywalker's enemy? Right? His father, Darth Vader, or whoever, right? I don't even know. There's so many of them, who knows, right? But here's the point. Every big, epic movie has an enemy. And sometimes when you don't name your enemy, it's actually better. There was a shampoo commercial This is a true story. I've studied this stuff. There was a shampoo commercial. Is it bad to have shampoo that foams? Or was that popular a few years ago?
Toxins or something are in it.
Yeah. So there's a shampoo that said, if it foams, and then they had this other thing where it's like, it's a phrase. If it foams, it's whatever. It strips. I think it was. If it foams, it strips your hair. Is that even? I don't have hair, so. Okay. Is this? I don't even know the benefits of hair. Okay, but is this true? If it foams, it strips. Is that fair? I don't even know. But there was this shampoo that came out a while ago with that phrase. So now when you're in the shower and you start seeing this shampoo foam, you're like, it's stripping my hair. I don't have to worry about that, right? But it's stripping my hair. So here's the point. They created an enemy. And it was foam. And now everyone has it in their hand every day and you see what I'm saying? So this shampoo commercial was brilliant. You do air purifiers, correct?
Yes.
So what's your enemy?
People
Pollen or whatever or
yeah,
something?
pollen, allergies, chemicals that are in the air.
Yeah.
Everything that we're breathing in that's toxic.
Yeah. And there's a crowd or group, check it out. Why has the film industry shifted around Facing the Giants and Fireproof and all these movies, right? Or was it Facing the Giants? Or Remember the Facing the Giants? Why? Why is the film industry getting excited about it? You went like this, money. They said enough people are boycotting other movies that's the enemy now, and now we have a whole market. So when you create your book, brand, or business, you need to say, who's my enemy? Who's my enemy? Okay? Awesome.
My question is, in the relationship, they say word of mouth is the best advertising, but word of mouth isn't virality. How do you move from just word of mouth to virality?
Yeah. I think word of mouth, let's go back to our formula. Content, community, conversation. Content, community, conversation. Can something go viral by word of mouth if you have those three? What do you think? So you can go viral with word of mouth, but you need to be able to have content. And content doesn't mean like a book. Content can mean a lot of things. Content was the ice bucket challenge. Community, right, and conversation. Tons of people. Remember the ice bucket challenge?
Yes.
Okay, the content was a video piece about you being dumped with water, and then what made it viral? How you could dare somebody. You see, just the ice bucket challenge wouldn't have gone viral, but then you had to dare someone, and let's face it, some people felt guilted. I know people who felt guilted, like, oh gee, well I've been publicly dared, and now if I don't do it, I guess I don't support. I don't even know what's the cause. ALS. Who wants to be that person? So then they would do it. But it was a built-in virality where it had an action, a see one, do one, teach one. See one, do one, teach one. You saw it, you did it, you taught it. How'd you teach it? By tagging someone and challenging, calling them out. So I think word of mouth can be viral. You're a church planter. How did Christianity go viral? Word of mouth. Content, community, conversation. Enemy, right? Awesome. Good stuff.
Do you ever get afraid before you post something or like doing podcasts or anything? How do you personally handle like fears?
Okay, we're being honest, all right? So I am now detached enough from this book because it's been out now for a month, meaning like it's not out, but I've been away from it for a month now, that if someone came on here, threw a match on it, peed on it, whatever, threw it in the garbage compactor, I would be okay with that. But when I first hit publish to my editor, I sent my editor an email, and I said, I am so nervous right now. I'm like, please tell me that, I said, I've already paid you, so you have no skin in the game. I can honestly take the truth. Do you think this book is okay, or do you think it sucks, basically? And I wanted to hear it, because you're so close to it when you first create it that you just don't know. And I was very nervous. And I was like waiting for the editor to respond. And I had zero self-esteem. And I was like, oh my gosh. You know, why? Because I had people around me enough, or at least enough that triggered it in my head, that said, you are a loser, this isn't going to be good, it's going to stink, this type of thing. And that's how it is. If your content, you wrote a scary book. You wrote a really scary book, Erica did, about her life. And good for you. And I remember getting an email from you, because you're one of my students, where you're like, should I actually hit publish? I'm so nervous, right? I mean, is this true? So I get it. Like, that's where failure and creativity and risk and reward all are together. If what you're putting out in the world is safe, Joel, you hit publish on a course of yours, right? That helps people get in front of media, right? Were you scared?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we should be scared. If you're not scared, you're not growing. Yeah.
Well, and if you're not scared, it doesn't mean something to you.
There you go. There you go. I like that. Yeah.
So my next question comes from someone from the online tribe
Okay.
who had a question. And Martin Wood asked, what was your preparation in discovering your voice for Sienna, and how did you know when you had it right?
Okay. So I've had a few beta readers who I really trust say to me, how in the heck did you write a book from a 17-year-old, 18-year-old female perspective? And then she literally said, like, did Kelly help you write the book? And I said, tell me more. I said, I don't want to interpret, like, tell me what you're saying. And she said, I honestly think you nailed it. Now, a lot of people here are women. You can tell me I totally missed it, and I'm okay with that. I don't know. Did I miss it? I'm not a woman, but she said that, and she's got a daughter, and she is a woman, and she said, I just really think you captured this. And that was awesome to hear that. Why did I write from a female perspective? I have no clue. Like, honestly, it was just always that. It was like always going to be Sienna, right? It's actually going to be Rowan, but Emily named her daughter Rowan, and like I was told I cannot name it Rowan, and so I was like, I'll change it. So it's Sienna, okay? So it's all good. It's all good. A little tidbit there, right? But here's the point. What was the question? I'm sorry. What was the question? How did I prepare?
Yeah.
Okay, so I here's what I did. I got audiobooks. And I just started listening to audiobooks. Because I'm like, I have no clue what young adult fiction is. I have no clue. Like, I have no clue. I read Blink, by Malcolm Gladwell, and, Seth Godin books, and I have no clue what young adult fiction is. So to be true to it, and to be honest to it, I started to just saturate myself with young adult fiction. And I'm like, are they writing present tense or past tense? Are they writing long sentences or short sentences? And I knew I needed to find my own voice in that lane, but I didn't want to be so abrupt that people didn't get it. Does that make sense? So when you don't know about something, you got to immerse yourself in it. And so I immersed myself. Like, don't say you want to be a speaker and a content creator and an author unless you're shadowing someone who's doing that. Because it's pretty arrogant for me to be like, well, I haven't read young adult fiction ever, but I'm actually going to write a book on young adult fiction. That's pretty arrogant. So what I said is, I have no clue, and so I'm going to dive in. So that's what I did. I dove into audiobooks. I didn't want to copy. I didn't want to emulate, but I wanted to get enough of the playing field. Book size, literal size, length. I mean, all that stuff went into it. Keep asking questions, and David, I'd love to see other people ask questions about either the book or going viral. And let's keep going, Renee. Awesome.
Have you had any come up, David?
Nothing that I don't think hasn't been answered.
Okay. Go
Okay,
ahead,
so
Rick.
go ahead, ask. We want to get yours. All right.
Okay, I got another question for you. Obviously, without revealing details, did you end the book in a way where you could eventually turn this into multiple books?
Yes.
And follow-up question on that, if so, is that what you had in mind when you first started
Yeah.
writing the book?
So I actually have the next two titles already picked. I have not at all mapped out. So don't get me wrong, like a lot of times when I write nonfiction, I actually write out all the chapter summaries. That was not this case. Many times in this book, the reason why it took so long is I'm like, crud, chapter 8 needs a gun. I gotta go back to chapter 4 and write a whole scene now about her getting a gun. Crud, chapter 15 has this detail. Now I got to go back to chapter 5 and like, I always wanted to do. Well, all right, have you ever seen a movie where you're like, that movie was so smart? Like Sixth Sense for me was like that, where I'm like, whoa, that's the type of book I wanted to be, where it's like, wow, that little detail that you saw in chapter 2 that nobody probably picked up is a major fact of chapter 6 and chapter 16 and there's 65 chapters. So I purposely make every chapter 3-4 pages, and every chapter ends with a cliffhanger. Because you need to reward your audience today. If your audience has their cell phone and the chapters 0 margins, 0 paragraph breaks, and 35 pages, your book's not going to be finished ever. So these books are 66 chapters, boom, short, cliffhanger, hanger, always action. I submitted my chapter to my friend, and he sent it back to me and said, this is so boring for a start. And I'm like, oh, that hurt. But I'm like, he's right. So then I went back and watched how The Matrix started. And some of you have read chapter 1 in the airport with the scene, with the whole, crazy thing that happens in the airport, which is free right now. David, can you put elixirprojectbook.com/free? It's all free. It's chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for you guys free right now, and I release a chapter every week for free. But I'm like, I have to watch Matrix because Trinity's running. Remember in Matrix 1? Trinity's running. The cop says your men are dead by now. She's got new moves that the industry had never seen, cinematography. I'm like, that has to be it. That has to be it. You want fiction to be sensationalized, but not over. Does that make sense? If it's totally unbelievable, your audience will hate you for it. But if it's just a stretch, they like that. At least I like it. Awesome. Great question.
Did you have any online questions that were different?
Yeah, hold on. Did you plot out the storyboarding in key events and then write the story, or how did you strategize? Did you start at the end and know where you're ending first, or did you start at the beginning and let the story evolve?
I'd love to say I knew everything. I totally didn't. I had a general idea that was like so general, like sick general, like not even good. And then I started to fall in love with the characters, and I started to they say that when you write fiction, you literally are creating another world. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that needs to happen, and this needs to happen, and Sienna's parents needed to have died, and she doesn't know how they died, and Uncle Kai came, and it just kept going and going, and the end is crazy. The end is so crazy. It's just crazy. That's what I wanted. I wanted it to be so unexpected that people were like, dang, and it ends where if the public hates this book, there's not a book 2. I'm being serious. Why would I devote 2 years of my life if it doesn't serve people? So I will have written a young adult fiction book and said I did that, and now it's done, and now I will do other things. You guys, the public will tell. But if people like it and say more, then I will do that. It's so weird to be in that spot. Normally I'm a guy who's I'm going here, I'm charting here, 3 years, 5 years. This is one that I'm I don't know. Putting it out there. And if it tanks, it tanks. Isn't that crazy? Could you guys imagine doing that? 2 years of your life doing something and just saying, if it sucks, it sucks. I think it's got to happen though. Awesome, great question. Anybody else?
Your chapters are quite short. Is this something you learned from your research, or is it part of your own plan?
I think it's part of that strategy of I want a book to be finished, and I want a page turner, and I want there to be this hook. To me, you cannot end a chapter flat. Remember those of us who grew up in the 90s and 80s watching TV shows, and it was like Batman, and then it ends, the commercial break. Then what do they do immediately when the commercial comes back? They replay the last 10 seconds. Right? So it was this constant, like, we live in a crazy world. We don't have one commercial. We have 5,000 ads that are coming across your brain every day, according to Google. If you do not write a book that is intriguing and catchy and hooky, nonfiction or fiction, people are going to just put it away. It's just the nature of it. So that's why I wanted to make the chapter short.
Good questions. Is there another burning question up here at the panel?
You guys are great, by the way. This is awesome. First for me. I've never done this before, so good job, Renee.
My question is about content. I mean, I know you had talked about this previously in your podcast about frequency and how you really needed to get the podcast to hit the next level. You had to follow it every week.
Oh yeah, like consistency.
And so how frequently? I mean, how do you know how frequently you need to keep content?
Yeah. So put it this way, guys. I want you to think of the internet as a big river. Okay? The internet is a big river. If I go away from the internet, most people could care less. I'm just being honest. You got to be real. You got to be real. Okay? I'm sure one of you in the room would be like, I missed your iPhone video. Thank you for that one person. Thank you. But the internet is a conversation. And if you're never feeding into the conversation, you are forgotten. Because there's so much out there. And so what I try to do is I try to always say something relevant, always something that's going to be beneficial, always something that's going to be valuable. This is where I don't say, for me, I'm not judging you if you do, but for me I don't say, let's talk about the debate last night. Like, I just don't. Why? Because there's no shortage of that. And if I want my brand to be about the debate, very quickly, I'll attract those people. See, because the internet is a river, your content, I don't want to say bait in the sense of like bad, but I'm saying like you are attracting certain people. If you are a contributor on social media, you are attracting certain people. People in the room know if they post a certain profile picture that's a little risky, a little sensual, they're going to attract certain people very quickly. Is this true? I wouldn't know because I'm a bald guy with a girl's name. But is this true? Is this true? So here's the point. You can attract a lot of stuff and a lot of people. I always try to attract people who need to be souls on fire, who need to be encouraged, who need to be built up, who need to be edified, who need to be challenged, who need to be clarified. So therefore, frequency question is that I probably do a video 3 times a week, do a podcast once a week. There's a rhythm for me. And if you're always out there, like 5 times a day, that's too much. So you gotta find that what works for you. It's a good question. Is there anybody in the crowd here who has a question about going viral, about Elixir?
Did you read any books on how to write books, like Stephen King's book, things of that sort?
I took one online course about how to write fiction. And I just listened to an audio, and I did it once a summer ago when I was mowing the lawn. It's a big lawn. And, and so over the summer, I just kind of listened to it. The guy is totally not my style. He's not this style. But I'm like, I'm going to listen to it. And so I listened to it, and I think it was helpful, but I think what was more helpful for me was listening to books in my genre and saying, because again, when I'm running, that's when I listen to audiobooks a lot. When I'm running, and here's the other thing, you should do it with your iPhone. My iPhone's being recorded. I always have my notes when I'm running, which sounds very weird, but when I'm running and there's a good line, if you go to your notes section, even while you're doing a light jog, I can actually say, chapter 13, loved this phrase about whatever. And once I take my finger off, the audiobook keeps going, same spot. So I can actually insert notes without having to click, 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 click. It's just like, that was a fantastic transition, the way, so Divergent, huge influence on this book. Just being honest, Divergent. I'm like, dang, Veronica Roth, super slick, really good. So I listened to that. I listened to Hunger Games. I didn't listen to like tons. I think you can oversaturate yourself and get freaked out. I really do. I think you can listen to like too many voices, and now you got 20 examples, and now you're super nervous because you're like, well, So I kind of like just a few voices. Good question. Yeah.
If you're, regardless of what you do, if you have an idea that you want to, I guess, eventually become viral,
yeah,
or something massive, like how do you start if you don't have a, like you already have written books?
Yeah.
Different people have already had certain projects where you can kind of piggyback on, okay, this is who I want to market this to, this is who I want to do this for.
Sure.
But if you're starting from ground zero,
yeah,
and you're like, I have this idea, and of course you have an idea, and you think it's the best idea ever, and it's gonna work. Like, where do you?
Right.
Where do you go?
Yeah, I'll just repeat the question. So if you have an idea, but you don't know, you're starting from ground zero, how do you make it go viral? I'm going to highlight Rob right here. Rob, can we get the camera on Rob? Rob, is it fair to say that you would admit that your marketing wasn't the best 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Is it fair to say, I'm going to compliment him, I think he's a rock star today. I'm just going to be honest. I think you're a rock star today. What did you start a few weeks ago, and you have been so consistent?
I started a closed Facebook group where I'm doing a video a day. For me, just in my area, it needed to be closed just so I could be completely open and authentic and real with people. And let's see, now we're, I think I'm up to, 422 members in this closed group.
And what have been some of the responses that you've gotten?
Especially since I've just gotten here in the States, I'm hearing just echoes from people who are just like talking about it to other people. There's a guy we were in college with named Nate Dunleavy, and somebody else said, yeah, Nate was just saying how he just loves your videos, and that you're just killing it.
So let's talk about this. So we got on the phone, I don't know what, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And I basically said, here's your strategy, and how long are your videos?
30 seconds to 2 minutes max.
So these are not like production, light crew. These are iPhone videos, and you've picked a day of the week, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday, that's right, Sunday. And you've, see, I told you I'm an idiot, right? Milk, days of the week. So the point is this, the point is that you are consistent. He didn't say, I'm gonna do this for 2 days and then take 5 days off and then do 3 days. Rick, you got a podcast. Pretty consistent since you started? Couple gaps, but I mean otherwise, pretty good, right? Joel, you got a podcast?
Yeah.
Pretty consistent? No? Couple gaps? All right, here's the point. I was going to skip this Sunday's podcast because I'm like, we got a conference manual that's due. You guys have just convinced me today, like I can't skip. because I made a commitment in February, and there have been so many weeks that I'm like, oh, deadline, I gotta skip. I don't like to do it. Like, I'm just honest. Like, let's be honest, right? It's not fun. Like, you gotta take a break sometimes. But at the same point, like, your audience expects it, right? And if you just start going, I'm gonna skip 5 weeks, and then I'm gonna go 2, and then I'm gonna skip 4. What if we did that with the fellowship? What if we said, we're taking 3 months off, good luck everybody. We've been going a month on for 4 years. And now people are like, oh, you got 2,000 people watching online. Why? So my point is this. I love the story of David and Goliath. What qualified David? He's facing a giant. What did he reference? Why did he say, I can take out Goliath? Why did he say that? Because I took out a lion and a bear. If you want to take out Goliath and go viral, thank you. Awesome. Thank you. I'm just going to close this with about 8 minutes. Thank you, Erica. Awesome. So I want to give to you guys. I truly want to give to you guys. How do I do that? If you're not part of the Elixir VIP group, like, be part of it. Every Monday is Mission Monday. Every Monday I give you something that's a mission that's going to help you go further and faster. Every Tuesday I give you Tool Tuesday. Every Wednesday I give you Word Wednesday. Every Thursday, get this, 1 out of 7 days, I step aside and I say, let's honor somebody in the tribe who's a rock star. You need to do that. If you are not okay honoring other people, don't expect people to honor you, right? You guys know every time we have a fellowship, I'm bringing people up and I'm like, hey, by the way, come on up, Laura. Let's give Laura a hand. All right, come on up, Laura. Seriously, come on up. All right, step over that. I want you to be careful. You have no clue this is coming. But she's from Wisconsin, and she has a book signing.
Yes.
At the Loft.
The Book Loft in Columbus on Sunday.
Look at that.
2 o'clock.
Look at that. So now 2,000 more people know about that, but I know that why? Because you were going to the restroom and I'm talking to your husband and I don't know, you just shared it. You weren't like, hey, bring her up on stage, but you're just like, hey, yeah, we're here, we're gonna do a book signing. That is awesome. Like, I haven't done that. Like, why not? That's cool. I'm jealous. So awesome. Good job. What's the book name?
Well, there's actually 3 books. I wrote 5 books in 13 months. I by the grace of God.
I wrote 1 book in 2 years.
It just,
no,
when Ray Edwards broke the dam,
okay.
just like,
all right,
yeah,
awesome.
It's When Tragedy Strikes, Come Grief Through Our Eyes, and My Grief Journey Colored in Broken Journal.
And it's all about grief and when
parents,
you have a child.
And how to help grieving parents.
Awesome. And I connected you with Janice Pitchford in our tribe, who wrote Finishing Well. Fantastic. Awesome. Watch out for that. Okay. Awesome. So I forget what slides are here. But anyways, here, we don't want spammers. So if you're a spammer and you're like, oh, good, I'm going to go in here and promote my link and ask everyone to buy, don't join the group, because we want just people there who are hungry, ready to grow. If you guys know people, like, again, I love the question, I think Renee asked it, maybe Erica, that said, do you have a movie in mind and this type of thing? Like, I'm serious when I say, like, I can't get the word out. I just can't get the word out enough. If you have people that you know are authors, speakers, coaches, content creators, podcasters, invite them to be part of the group, because we are daily giving value. I talked in the beginning about how this was an event, how a process really needs to happen in your life if you're going to turn into something big. This is like, you guys came today and exercised. You guys came to the gym. You came to the workout. You said, I'm gonna bring it. If you don't work out for another month, what's going to happen? Are you going to be healthy? No. Same thing with today. We have once a year we have a conference. It's called the Igniting Souls Conference. Bunch of you are coming. How many of you are coming in the room? Bunch of you. All right, fantastic, awesome. I get it. It's a financial investment. It's a time investment. Here's what I know. There's some things that you can't say, what is it going to cost me to go? There are certain things in your life that happen very rarely where you need to say, what is it going to cost me if I'm not in the room? What would it have costed you today if you would not have been in the room? Did everyone learn something today? Something that they can take and apply, right? I took something. Don't skip Sunday podcast, right? I mean, I got that. I got that message. Okay, all right. Now I'm on the hook. We have 2 tickets left. Literally 2 tickets left. We purposely keep the room small because we go deep. And you guys have been there before, a lot of you. We do not sit in theater seats. This is round tables. You have table teammates where you go deep. This is a manual where you walk away and literally Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the next 1 month, 6 months, you have a map on what to do. So this is not hype. This is not dancing in the aisle. This is like, let's get down to business. Let's crush it. Let's become unhackable. IgnitingSoulsConference.com, and it's literally 14 days from today. We have people, again, coming in from Australia, all over the place, and the people in Gahanna and Newark and Hilliard and Grandview and Delaware. You guys need to come, okay? There's no excuse. So I had a blast today. True honor. We have 2 minutes left. We are also bringing Dexter Godfrey, Unhackable on Stage, Amy Schmidauer, Unhackable on Video, Dean Folks, How to Create an Unhackable Tribe, me talking about how to become unhackable with your mind, David, Unhackable Online. He's going to share our fire starter formula, kind of our secret sauce for our whole business. So any other questions? You guys, from the comments, if you can just type in one thing you learned from today. I'd love to hear that. One thing, I do review the comments. I'd love to hear that. I want to hear one share. Who learned one thing today? Raise your hand. What did you learn? Anybody? What's your takeaway? One takeaway. Look at your notes. What's your one takeaway? Pete, what's your one takeaway?
See one,
do one, teach one. Awesome. That's stolen from the medical community, I'm told. I'm not a doctor medically, but I hear that when they do surgeries, they say see one, do one, teach one. Awesome, fantastic. Yeah.
To realize that I have an enemy, and that's a big piece of, who is the enemy? So that we can
Yeah. She needs an enemy. She needs to define her enemy. She needs to clarify it. Awesome. What else? Kathy.
Mine was dream recovery instead of dream discovery.
Gotta thank Pat for that one. Awesome. That was like, you could have left after the first minute. You could have just left. Said, I'm done. I got my word today. Rick.
Redwood dreams don't come to life on more time.
That was unplanned. I like that. I'm stealing that too. Say that again. Redwood dreams.
Redwood dreams don't come to life on more time.
Dude, I'm taking it. All right, that's good. Yeah, Kathy.
The Goliath story.
Yeah.
About who's your bear and your lion.
Yeah. Yeah, don't take on a Goliath without getting that bear in line. Yeah, anybody else? This is great. Yeah, wow. Renee.
Remember to think that I already wrote it, I already did it, not that I need to.
I love that. Nuance that for us. What does that mean?
So more or less whether writing a book or have an idea, already thinking in the future.
Yeah.
And what is going to happen after that takes place, because I already did it, instead of focusing on what the major task is that has to happen.
Awesome. Fantastic. Joel, real loud.
For my world, and Jeff, I think you'll agree, we have clients who come to us and say, I want this to go viral. And it's like, it just doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
You have to work it. And so you talking about you need community, content, conversation.
Yeah.
You have to be doing those things, or what you always say, show up, Felder.
Yep.
You have to have those things in place
Yep.
in order to throw gas on it to make it go.
That's
crazy.
right.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Those three things.
Awesome. Very good. Fran, come on up here. Our last minute. All right, come on. I have been seeing Fran's videos and I love it. Look, when I see your videos, I like them. So Fran, franslivingfoodstill.com.
Yeah, it's Fran's Living Foods and Lahain Ministry.
Yeah.
And what I've been doing, because I got trained in the food first on the physical healing, and I had a physical healing, I had a growth shrink in 5 days with wheatgrass juice and green smoothies and
sounds good.
Sauerkraut, whatever. So anyways, but then I got into Lahain Ministry, which is about the spiritual roots of disease. So right now I'm combining both of them.
Love
and
it.
I'm doing videos. And I love it. It's the quick, just give people some things to chew on. And and I love it, and I love the food part. That's what really gets me excited. But the other part is really important because, you know, I can give you something about what helps your bones, but I found out if you have a lot of guilt, it may be affecting your bones. So, you know, whatever. It doesn't mean that, but
a holistic approach.
So anyways, I love it. It's fun. I love the live because people come on, they start asking questions.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, the Lord is so good. I was watching the Food Channel, and they had these kids training them how to do live video, and that just happened to happen when I started. They were giving all the bad things you shouldn't do, and I'm like, wow, it just showed me what I was doing wrong too. And
That's good.
So I had to like get my glasses on so I could read the comments.
Awesome. Awesome.
So anyway,
Very
thank
good.
you.
What's your website or your Facebook where people can find you?
Facebook, just look up Francis Capoccia. That's where I'm posting the live videos, but then I put them on my page, L'Haim Ministry and Friends Living Foods.
Great. Awesome. Fantastic.
Can you spell the last name?
Oh,
C-A-O?
C-A-P-O-C-C-I-A. And Francis is first name. F-R-A-N-C-E.
That's right. It does sound delicious. We need to have our next fellowship food, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I can make some pretty good stuff.
We might do that. We might do that. And you went through the deeper path years ago.
Oh yeah.
Like you were one of the first people.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where you got some of this clarity about.
Oh yeah, definitely about.
L'Haim, whatever you said.
Yeah, L'Haim Ministry
there
and the
you go.
Dream and all that. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So,
awesome.
Thank you.
Big announcement. Big announcement. Awesome. Not for you.
Yeah.
Not for
Okay.
you.
Okay.
But usually when someone says a big announcement, they grab a lady's hand. They're gonna get down on one knee or something. No, not that. We are gonna have, let's drum roll, baby. All right, we are gonna have in December the fellowship at Sparkspace.
Cool.
So we're gonna have the fellowship at Sparkspace Columbus. Pack out the place, December 9th. And it's going to be fantastic. I also want to give you another date, December 6th. December 6th, I am turning 40, and we are having the Elixir Project at Life Point. Release party. Big release party. Tons of prizes. This is something to do with the world record. December 6th, write it down. Save that date. It's a Tuesday night. What are you doing on a Tuesday? Come on. Come on. So we're going to have a blast. All right? Cool? Well, guys, thanks so much. If you found value in this, you can share it afterwards. If you think, oh my gosh, I just had lunch with someone 2 days ago, this would help them, please share the video with them. And we hope to see you at the Ignited Souls Conference. If you want one of those two tickets left, grab it quick, and then join the free Elixir VIP group. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you. We'll see you later.